Okay. We've been studying the law of demand and the determinants of demand. Now we're going to look at why the slope is slope the way it is. So we're going to look at price elasticity of demand. We've said that as price goes up, quantity goes down, but what we haven't said is by how much. So sometimes we change the price, we're going to see a fairly substantial change in the quantity. Sometimes we're going to change the price and we're going to see little, if any, change in the quantity that we are purchasing. And so that's what price elastic means. How sensitive to a change in price is the quantity demanded. Sometimes it's very sensitive. Think about a piece of elastic versus something that has no elastic in it. Things that have elastic are very sensitive versus no elastic, not sensitive. So when we change the price, if it's very price sensitive, it's elastic. If it's not sensitive to a change in price, then it's going to be inelastic. There's 3 different ways, so we're going to have 3 different videos that show each one of these. This first one is just a formula. All you have to know is how to plug in the numbers. There's no math required. If I can do it, you can do it. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to give you the formula first. So we're going to figure out where to put just one of them, and then the other number has to go in the other place. So since price is the thing that's causing the change, that's what we're going to do first. And so we're going to look at the percent change in price. And when we do that, when we change the price, how much is that going to change our quantity demanded? So we're going to put that number, the percent change in quantity demanded. Once again, remember one of them. You only have one other number left over. Put it in the other place. So if you remember price, and it goes on bottom, price goes on bottom, price goes on bottom, then you know your quantity is going to go on top. So don't forget that. If you need to say it over and over again, say it over and over again. The other thing I want to point out really quick is on some handouts, instead of writing the word change, they put the delta symbol. So if you see this triangle, that means change. So I will try and point that out every time you see it. Just remember percent. Sometimes you will see the symbol delta instead of the word change. It just means percent change in quantity demanded divided by the percent change in price. So we can see a couple of different things happen here, several different things, I guess, depending on if it's price elastic, we're going to see a huge change in the quantity. If it's not, if it's inelastic, we're going to see a very small change. So let's just go ahead and plug the numbers in. 10% change in price, and it can go down, it can go up, it doesn't matter. We know that that's going to have an effect on our quantity demanded. How much depends on if it's price elastic or price inelastic. Elastic's more sensitive, so what you're going to see is a larger change than that 10%. So 15%, 25%, 11%. Anything that's above 10 that makes this number greater than 1, so this is greater than 1, it is price elastic. 10% change in price. If it goes down, we know quantity demanded is going up. If it goes up, quantity demanded is going down. That's that relationship, that inverse relationship, but then downward slope still applies. So when we look at a curve that is price elastic, it's going to have a very shallow curve to it. It's going to have a very shallow slope to it in relationship to the other one. So you'll see that here in just a minute. So if we have a 10% change in price, and let's increase it this time. Sometimes they raise the price and we continue to buy it at almost the same rate that we did before. Might see a 1%, let's say 2% change in our quantity demanded since the price went up. We know that's going to go down. We're going to see the law of demand still hold true. We're still going to see the downward slope of the curve. But this means you're not going to see much. So if it's less than 1, it's price inelastic. And this is going to have a really steep slope to it. Because what we're going to see, and there is just a little slope, but not much at all. So that's our demand curve. Still downward sloping, just not a lot very much. So when you look at these two in comparison, if you change the price by roughly the same amount on each one of these, you can see large change in quantity demanded, very small change in quantity demanded by roughly the same change in the price. Price elastic, very sensitive to a change in price. price inelastic, not very sensitive to a change in price. The third thing we can see happen is if we change the price by 10%, do it down, we could see the same exact percent change in our quantity demanded. This is called, when it's equal to 1, unit elastic, or sometimes it'll say unitary elastic. And when we look at this curve over here, get rid of that. So really what we're seeing is the center. We're going from here, we're getting, our slope is getting a little flatter and flatter. This is where we move from inelastic, unit, and then we start to become more elastic after that. So this is the formula. Remember, we're going to put price on bottom, price goes on bottom, price goes on bottom, which means we're going to put the quantity on top. If you plug in the numbers, put price on bottom, how does that affect? I will always give you these numbers. You're never going to have to calculate the percent changes. I'm going to save that for AP next year. So change in price, larger change, greater than 1, price elastic. It's a flatter slope on this. 2% change in quantity demanded caused by this 10% change in price, less than 1, price inelastic, a very steep slope, and then 1/1, or when we equal to 1, unit elastic, and that's that center. That's the part where they meet and go from elastic to inelastic. So that's the formula.